welcome to Corona Fine Art. Today I'm working on an acrylic painting of a beautiful bloom called Magnolia grandiflora. This is a southern magnolia, and here I'm just layering the first coat of color using primary colors red, blue, and yellow, in addition to some white. And I wanted to show you just very quickly how I apply the first layer, and now I'm going to slow it down a bit and show you how I start layering some more detail and highlights and go over this first layer of color. So this is my most recent painting that I'm working on. I have been working on with mostly watercolors, and today started to get back into acrylics. So I decided to paint this beautiful bloom. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions about my technique, or if you would like to see any specific skills addressed in some of my future videos. I was doing the Sunday sketching, but since I started this painting this week, I wanted to post a video of my progress on it instead of the usual sketching video. And I will continue sketching in the future, but I might focus more on showing progress and process of different paintings that I'm working on versus the sketches, because a lot of the sketches are also in preparation for these bigger paintings. Either way, thank you for joining me today. Very excited to grow my art channel and just give you a little more insight into my process and my mission and my vision for my business, Corona Fine Art. I do have a website, coronafineart.com, if you would like to see more of my artwork. And find out more information about me and about shopping for my pieces. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. It's Corona Fine Art. So on here, I'm adding some bright white highlights on the main flower bloom, because the first layer was mostly shadows. And for the shadows, I mixed ultramarine blue and burnt sienna to come up with this kind of purple gray shade. And right here, I'm using some of that with the white to blend in some of the middle shadows or midtones in each of these flower petals, because I do want to give the illusion of the flower petals kind of bending and curving out. So I want to make sure I study the highlights and the shadows very closely in order to give that illusion of movement and curving of the petals. So for the background color, I wanted it to be fairly dark, because the leaves of this tree are a dark green, and the underside of the leaves are kind of like a velvety brown. for which again I mixed the Bernstein and the ultramarine blue and a little bit of red in there as well, cadmium red. So one thing that I do when I'm trying to blend colors is I usually apply, in this instance, for example, some of the white and some of the darker gray purple color, and then I wipe off the excess paint from the brush, so that is more conducive to blend in the colors. Or you can also get a brush that's clean and blend the two colors that you applied with the other brush. So here I'm just going over the background with a little more green, darker, to make the first coat that I applied a little less transparent. So for this background, as I said before, I mixed the hooker's green with some cadmium red. Just making sure it's really dark in order to achieve a contrast with the really bright light white petals. And also because later on I will be bringing out some darker shapes that will kind of blend into the background, and there will be some more leaves. So it will create the illusion of layering and a deeper space, so that it looks like there are some leaves underneath that are in a really dark shadow because of the flowers. So this flower, Magnolia grandiflora, is gorgeous bloom, and I know that there's a lot of different types of magnolias. There are some, for example, that only grow in the mountains, and those are similar in shape, but they're smaller blooms. And I've seen some white, but I've also seen some purple pink blooms, and the leaves are lighter green and a little less thick than these. They're just as beautiful, I think. But they're usually really tall trees, so I haven't been able to observe them as well, whereas these, they grow kind of lower to the ground sometimes, depending on the size of the tree, so you can observe them up close more. So now I'm going to start working on the petals of the other flower. I'm going to be making them darker. Since this flower is beneath the other one, I do want it to be more in shadow, in the shade. So I want to again create that illusion of space and layering. So I'm going back over these petals that I left very light and making them a few shades darker and intensifying that contrast. So thank you so much for watching today. I'm going to switch to some quick time lapses, just going over the leaves. I appreciate you watching, and keep an eye out for my following video, which will be hopefully finishing up this painting. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe, comment down below, and click the like button.